While I did plan on making a video after watching some NFL, I didn't plan on making one about this. Mike Babcock has resigned as the Blue Jackets head coach. He has been replaced by Pascal Vincent, who has agreed to a 2-year deal, which is the same amount of contract term that Babcock had. Man, it seems like the NHLPA's investigation has gotten more and more steam behind it as the week went on. They released a statement on Friday essentially saying that they met with the NHL and had a chit-chat and that their investigation was ongoing then. There were some major red flags, in my opinion, over the weekend with the Blue Jackets front office responses. Both John Davidson and Jarmo essentially issuing no comments, which were quite different in tone from some of the early official public player statements, guys like Boone Jenner and Johnny Gaudreau, who were fairly adamant that nothing uncouth happened during their individual meeting with Mike Babcock. And even though there were pictures that were asked for in exchange, they felt like everything was within bounds. And so while we haven't heard the final results of the Players Association's investigation, it seems pretty obvious that not every player found Babcock's antics or maybe his intentions with the requests as innocent as guys like Boone Jenner and Johnny Gaudreau might have. And something that I said in my last video about this, I said then that if this goes south, if this situation turns out like it pretty much did, then this hire of Mike Babcock was essentially like seeing a dog turd on the other side of the street, walking over to it and then deciding to step in it anyway. Because this was going to be a controversial hire from the outset. Even when we heard that the Blue Jackets interviewed Mike Babcock for their head coaching position, there was immediately just this massive backlash reaction from a significant portion of the hockey world and the Blue Jackets fan base as well. You had people who immediately saw this as like this option is too nuclear, where, yeah, it did work out with Torts, but John Tortorella and Mike Babcock, they both carry very different baggage, even though they're both kind of, known as older guys who might be a bit fiery here and there. John Tortorella has a lot of players who love to play for him. They get his coaching style. He does have some detractors, but Mike Babcock's detractors seem to be much more in number and a lot more vitriolic against him as a person. And that does seem to be where kind of the issue lies, where, players, they're not dumb to Mike Babcock's reputation. They know that they can anticipate perhaps some mind games, or even if Mike Babcock wasn't even trying to do that, the fact that he does have the reputation that he carries not so long ago, this wasn't like this happened 20 years ago, just, not even 4 years ago, we heard all the stuff about Mitch Marner and Johan Franzen with the Red Wings. So this hire was already going to be a lightning rod for controversy, and all it took was just one step out of line, and the Mike Babcock, the bridges that not only that he burnt, but the ones that were, quite frankly, still burning, they all came back around on the Blue Jackets and caused this circus before training camp even started. And I guess if they weren't going to be able to get past this distraction, I suppose this is the best course of action, is to just act. I know Mike Babcock wasn't fired, but I do feel like there probably was some acknowledgement from both sides that, hey, this probably isn't going to work out. We're not going to be able to sit around and let this one die down. So I guess Mike Babcock was probably told, whether you resign or if you wait around, we are going to can you. It just probably wasn't going to work out either way. So Pascal Vincent is the new guy in charge. Yeah, back when the Blue Jackets hired him, or I should say when it was announced that they hired him, because they had to wait until his contract with Toronto expired, I said it wasn't my first or second choice. I did say that there was a possibility that this could have worked out, but obviously, as today's events have transpired, that's not going to happen. So yeah, this is horrible, and honestly, I do think that the positions held by Jarmo and John Davidson need to come into question as well. I'm not sure you can clean your whole front office before the season like you can with just a head coach, but I feel like if the Blue Jackets don't get surprisingly good on ice results this season with Pascal Vincent behind the bench, I think this probably could be Jarmo's last head coaching hire. Again, unless the Blue Jackets just completely blow expectations out of the water. Both John Davidson and Jarmo Kekalainen might be looking for new jobs, and the Blue Jackets might be looking for some new voices in their front office in order to lead this team into the future with all the young prospects that they have. And that is kind of what it really does concern me. I'm not necessarily that concerned about, oh, Mike Babcock's gone and the head coach. The Blue Jackets have had trouble with their head coach for years now. No matter how maybe perhaps unready Pascal Vincent was, I doubt it could be much worse than what we've been through with Brad Larson last season. But as far as, this Blue Jackets organization is still very young. I feel like it probably could use a steady hand and a steady vision, and that can be hard to get if you're cleaning out your entire front office 1 year into, after Adam Fantilli's rookie year. A lot of guys are going to be up for extensions soon, like Cole Sillinger, Kent Johnson. Those two alone are going to be huge. Yegor Shchunikov is also going to be an RFA entering next offseason. It's again, unless the Blue Jackets completely blow expectations out of the water, there could be some major changes in the front office next season, which can only lead to, at the very best case scenario, can lead to uncertainty. At worst, this could turn into a dumpster fire as soon as next offseason, as soon as training camp, really. We'll see how the early season results go, but in the meantime, all I can really hope for is to try to just focus, for the Blue Jackets, just try to focus on the actual product on the ice, because right now everything surrounding the Blue Jackets off the ice is just, for lack of a better term, a complete shit show. So thank you all for watching. If you made it this far into the video, leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed it and you'd like to see more like it. Subscribe if you want to. I'll see you at the next one.